Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett, and I know we've all been there where you've walked into your living room and you're just like, no, I don't like it, I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired of it, I wanna change, I don't know what is going on or what to do. In my experience from working with clients, these are some of the top reasons they don't like their living rooms and how you can fix it so that you love the place you're in. Grab your coffee and let's get into it. Now, one of the first reasons my clients just feel overwhelmed and they don't love their living room, and me too, sometimes it happens. I mean, not right now. I'm at a pretty good place, I feel like. I'm currently at that delusional stage where I walk in and I'm like, oh, so gorgeous. But sometimes you just think like, nothing matches in here. Like nothing matches, nothing makes sense. It's all just stuff I've had forever. Or I'll have clients that they've inherited things or they've just collected things or they said, you know, we just put it in here so we could live in the house, but like now we're ready to decorate. When nothing in your space matches or it doesn't feel like it, you usually don't love it. All right, especially if you're not committed or attached to a lot of the things. So focusing in on what are the core elements, like what are the big pieces in a room that I can then pull inspiration from or the colors I wanna work with allows you to make a cohesive color scheme. So like when I'm looking at a space and I'm kind of coming up with ideas or figuring out what I like, I will pull color swatches like, you know, I have a lot of samples on hand, like whether it's paint samples or fabric samples, but I'll collect them up and put them together as close as I can to the things I have or the colors already in that space. And then I start layering other tones or patterns with it to see what I like. And you can do this in, you know, if you have those samples on hand, you can also do this digitally, take pictures of the things you have, look for other items, you can then compile them together to create something that's personal or really works for the space so that you get a good understanding of what's there. There's also a lot that's happening with AI right now where you can kind of generate a photorealistic view of a space with all of these items in there to decide whether or not something looks busy, cluttered, or makes sense. Now, another reason a lot of people just don't love their living rooms is that they feel so full. They feel so cluttered. There's like a lot of stuff happening and it's like everything is covered. Well, that's because everything is covered. It's because there's either pieces in that room that are just too big or you just have too many smaller pieces. And I always think that like if you can see more of the floor, if you can see more of your baseboards, if you can see a corner in that room, like a corner of the wall, like you can see the floor there, the room will look and feel bigger. It will feel more empty than it actually is. So if you get furniture that's a little bit taller, has longer legs, and you can see under it more, it's gonna look bigger. Actually, the furniture piece will look smaller, the room will look bigger, and that will lead to a feeling of like spaciousness that sometimes you just don't have. Also, sometimes in a small room, you think, this room is small. I need to have a lot of small things in this room so that the scale of them matches. And it's actually the opposite. In a small room, you wanna have some bigger pieces. So like a big storage piece is better than a lot of little ones because that one big storage piece holds a lot more in one go than all of those small ones do scattered all over the place. Like it just feels a lot busier when you have that. Sometimes you might need to float a piece of furniture and pull it off the wall. A lot of things you can do. It's all about making that room feel bigger and using some tricks to do it. It may also be about the layout. You might have to shift some things around. You may have to change your perspective on how you're using that space or where something is positioned just to make the space feel a little bit bigger. Plus, it's always nice to change things up a little bit to kind of refresh everything and make your home feel kind of brand new, shopping what you already have. Maybe it's from other rooms, or even sometimes I'll recommend to people that like, maybe your dining room is actually your living room and your living room is actually your dining room. Sometimes that works out better for you because maybe one of them has a lot of doors. That's better for a dining room than it is for a living room. Like swapping some spaces around might actually get you more space in less space, and that's always something to think about. And let me tell you what, sometimes you just need a different perspective or somebody to look at a space just to really be honest with you and tell you what's going on that maybe nobody else sees, or come up with a creative solution that you just don't realize will actually work way better for you than anything you've come up with. An interior designer is that person, a designer like me. You could always book a one-on-one virtual consultation with me where you can show me around your home or a space and I can answer some of those difficult questions you might have that'll actually make your home elevated, look beautiful, look exactly how you want it and get you from point A to point B. Sometimes it's a little bit of design advice you need. So book your consultation with me using the link in the description box down below or go to intro.co/GarrettLeChic to book it. And hey, maybe we can have a virtual coffee together and chit chat about what we can do to elevate your home. And you tell them, Art, and sometimes you don't always have to do a gut renovation or get rid of everything to get a space you love. So on top of your home looking full or looking, kind of cluttered, sometimes it just looks really busy. And sometimes it just looks really messy. And you're like, how do I stop it? How do I end this cycle of it always looking busy? It's overwhelming to be in this space because there's just so much going on, or it feels like it. Usually what's happening is that you have either too much contrast or you have too many busy patterns in a space. Or it could also be that you just have too many colors going on. And these are all things that can be addressed by pulling back a little bit. It might be like, hey, instead of that really busy patterned rug, we opt for something that's a gradient or a solid color that can be simple. Instead of using all of these different pillows, like maybe we opt for 2 sets of matching pillows. That way we can create some consistency. I also see all of the time where people just don't have enough grounding colors or elements in their home, where it's like, we need to have that one strong, deep color or rich color that really pulls focus and provides that depth the space needs. But oftentimes I find that people feel their space is too busy because it's just visually too busy. It's not cluttered. There's not physically too many things there. It's just, everything is not layered together in a way that makes sense. Sometimes it's about maybe we need some bigger artwork to tone down that busyness actually. And sometimes it's like maybe your rug is not big enough. Have a look at this space, for example. Strong colors going on with it. We've got interesting mirrored setups on either side of this window, the sofa, and then we have this rug. I would say that the mirrors are a little undersized. If we went with something a little bit bigger in each of those spaces, it would feel a little bit more substantial. Even some large drapery over these windows could be really beautiful. Going a little bit bigger with the rug is another great way we could add a grounding element into this space. And even though we wouldn't really be getting rid of anything, we would actually be adding in more things and larger things. The space would feel less busy because there would be less visual clutter and static happening because we have those grounding elements. Another reason some people are tired of their living rooms is that it's just boring. And sometimes it's not even that it's boring, it's just that you've had the same thing forever and you're just tired of it. You're ready to do something different with it. You're ready to change things up. Happens to me too. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm working on some design plans to update my studio, and then we're converting one of the other rooms in the house into a beautiful study and office for my husband. I'm just tired of it. I'm just ready for some change. I'm ready for a little update. I want to do something different. I want to level it up and do something more. So what I'm looking at doing is maybe replacing a handful of items, some strategic pieces, switching up the layout a little bit so that I'm doing this, keeping some of the great pieces I have that I love, and I'm also enhancing the floor plan of that room to maybe even have more furniture, more artwork, so that it just feels a little bit different and more curated. Same thing goes for my husband's office. Right now it's a utility room that we just make use of for whatever reasons, but we're gonna go moody with it. We're gonna do something handsome and rich and interesting in that space because we're just bored of what's there now and we can create more function. In your living room, you might switch up your layout. You might move around some pieces. Maybe you sell some things, do a new slip cover for your sofa, or change out all of the accessories. New rug, new pillows on the sofa, those little things. It's not as big of a pill to swallow, right? It's not like I'm replacing my sofa that I spent all of this money on and it's so expensive. I can do a little something and really elevate and change it up and make it look really great and interesting. I'm all about Facebook Marketplace. I'm all about resale, consignment stores. I love them because I can buy some nice things there, but I can also sell some nice things there. Those are great places to look. And hunt online. My Amazon storefront is a great resource if you're looking to update your home. So be sure you check out the link to it in the description box down below. If you're bored of your space, sometimes you think about a color, sometimes it's just about rotating artwork around. That can be interesting too. Figure out a way to just change it up a little bit, mix things up a little bit, re-accessorize, pull every small thing out of the room, and then say okay, I'm not gonna put anything back where it was. I wanna do everything completely differently, but I wanna use all of the same pieces. And you may hate it, okay? It might not look good, but you may love it at the same time, or you may gain a new appreciation for what you had before, which I also think is very interesting. And actually, something interesting, I'll share it with you, not sponsored. One of my favorite places and where I go in town is called the Purple Chandelier. It's like Lynn's World, the Purple Chandelier. It's a really cool place, and I've actually sold pieces there. If you remember, if you've been watching for a while, I had these cream Chesterfield sofas. I used to film on them all of the time. And I love them, but they were from our previous home. They were just a little too big for this house. I needed more clearance to walk through this room. So I sold them there, and a subscriber actually purchased them for her place, which was really interesting. So I'll take things and I'll sell them there. And I also am a pretty big shopper there too. So like if I'm driving by, I'll always pop in just to see what's up and going on there. Find a place like that near you though. That has like just interesting pieces that people are rotating through or getting rid of, letting go of, or buying. That's always really interesting to do in my opinion. That and Facebook Marketplace. They're some of my favorite places to shop for home decor, furnishings. I just like that. I like things that pique my interest and are unique. Now, another reason you might just be a little over your living room, you're tired of it, you're ready to change it up, or you don't know what's going on is because it looks empty. It just looks a little empty. And what's there to say about that other than get some more things? Not necessarily. Sometimes your living room looks empty because it's bigger than you think it is. You know, size is relative. It's a matter of perspective. Like for what is small to me might be big to you, and what's big to you might be small to me in terms of, you know, homes and sizes and things. So if you think your living room is smaller than it is, and you're using some of these tricks that it's like making your living room look bigger, right? You're using pieces of furniture that are taller, there's more open legs, you know, some of those things, or you're pushing furniture against a wall, sometimes it'll just look like ginormous. They'll look empty and completely like, you know, like there's way too much space here because maybe you're just used to something that's a larger space, but now you're in something that's smaller, but it's not as small as you think it is. Sometimes you have to go with pieces of furniture that are a little bulkier. Sometimes you have to float a furniture arrangement in your space. Sometimes you just have to add a little bit more in terms of layering into the space, or maybe get a larger rug. I see living rooms all of the time where it's like, I have a sofa in the living room and it's against this wall and there's like nothing else other than a TV. And it's like, okay, we need a rug, we need a coffee table, we need accent chairs. The coffee table, the accent chairs are floating in the room, the TV's over there, we have a 3-foot walkway here, and like, boom, the living room is no longer empty, it's nice and full, and it looks like, you know, we really planned this out. Sometimes it's like, we just need some potted plants in a corner, or I love to do this thing where I use these like small accent chairs, almost like tables or like artwork or sculpture, kind of like to flank a table to make it look bigger, or to put in a random corner to kind of fill it up a little bit. Like I'm doing an interesting thing behind me where I have this big piece of furniture here, this like console table that everybody loves to comment on. But over here, I have a baby grand piano that's out of frame. You can't see it. So I have this weird dead space between the piano and the fireplace that I don't have on this side. So I have this gold accent chair here, and you may not be able to see it. It's a Victorian blanket rack, like a quilt rack, like actually it's a blanket warmer. You'd put it in front of the fireplace, but beside the point. I'm creating balance and I'm filling that empty space in by using a little accent like that to make it feel a little heavier in that empty spot where I don't have that over here. You can do those little tricks in your home to create that sense of balance, or to fill up an empty space that's a little negative. And a lot of these like furniture and home decor stores or whatever, they have like little programs where you can kind of envision something in your space. Those are always really nice to use if you're really stuck and struggling. Or like I said before, just work with a designer. You could also take a moment and hit that subscribe button and join us, because we post at least two videos every week, all about interior design and how to elevate your home and just make it more beautiful. And I love to hang out with all of you, and just, we get to have a little chit chat together and have our little coffee, although mine has gone cold by now. But, you know, that's interesting. If it's iced coffee, it's good, but if it's just cold coffee that was hot and it's like sitting in a cup for too long, it's like, not for me. Yeah. You see what I mean? Very sensible information. Hit that subscribe button and join us. Become a part of our LeChic family, because we would love to have you here and we'd love to hang out with you too. One of the biggest talking points I have with clients is like, they just don't know where to put their televisions. They don't know where to put them. And there's one big reason for this, and we'll kind of get into it. I have the same issue in my house, where I live in a vintage home. My house was built in the 1960s, and I absolutely love it. It's a great home, well built, love, 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 love it. But televisions were not the same as they are now, right? Like, let's be real about it. You know, originally they were like a furniture piece. They would just sit in a corner, or you would pull it out or watch it or whatever. And then it got to be these like big bulky ones with the big backs that people like to built in. So you see a lot of drywall niches and just weird things like that. where do you put a TV? Like, what do you do with it in your space? And that's the big question. And usually it ends up being like you walk into the room and there's a giant TV on the wall there. Or like people will put them above their fireplaces because there's not a really intentional spot for a television to be. I always recommend a few things. Number one, I love a mounted TV. If you can mount your television on the wall, I say absolutely do it. Get it off of that piece of furniture just because it just feels more intentional. It's a little more built in. I love a frame TV or a TV with a frame. They're great. They look good. Even though I know it's a TV, everybody knows it's a TV, at least it's like trying to be a little bit more enhanced, right? I appreciate the effort. The other thing I'll always say is I don't like to see a TV when I first walk into a space. So I don't want to walk into your living room and like see the beautiful focal point fireplace with a TV above it. It's just not my favorite thing in the world. Sometimes you have to do it, and it's okay. I love a TV that has a movable television mount, so we can kind of pull it out, we can adjust it up and down, we can swing it around. Having that adjustability definitely makes things easier to use. But one of my favorite recommendations to make for clients is actually putting their televisions on an easel. I recently met with a great couple who did a wonderful renovation on their home. I mean, like, I was stunned. It was gorgeous. And they were like, we need help with this living room. Like, we don't know what to do. Like, where does the TV go? Like, what do we do with this? And that was the solution, okay? It was like, you need to put the TV on an easel because none of this room is designed for a flat screen television that is, you know, it's like, it's not designed for a TV at all. Like, that's just not how it was built. And we're talking about a house from like the late 80s, early 90s or something. Like, it's not even an old house. So they're just not designed for modern living, even though they're not old homes. And that's just what you see sometimes. So I love a TV on an easel if we can do that. And basically you can buy these like honestly, there's some in my Amazon storefront you should check out. They will be stationary, they will be rolling, you can find interesting designs on their bases, or you could even source an older, like an actual artist easel, a wooden easel that maybe has been used and has some of those paint smudges on it, feels authentic, it has some age on it. I love that too. You could get an easel that's, you know, brand new and unfinished and then stain it to match your home and your decor. I think that's a really good idea as well. Lots of things you can do, and remember, if it's like a wooden easel, you can just mount a TV to it. Like, get a TV mount the TV on the easel, like boom, it's done, it's there. And, you know, you can kind of wheel it around and move it in and out of the place. You can have it at an angle in a corner, you can put it in front of a window, but still have it be movable. You can take it out of that room when you're entertaining or move it into the room when you're entertaining. If you're doing like a sports night or a movie night or something, that's all really good. One of the biggest struggles everyone has with their living room is the layout. Now, I am naturally a gifted person with layouts. Like, I look at a room, I can see what the layout is supposed to be, what it was designed for, what it should be, and how to get creative with it. I had one client who they had a doorway added into their living room, and I was immediately like, that doorway was not originally there. And they were like, no, it wasn't. And I was like, yeah, so like, let's put like a pony wall there so we can put a sofa behind it so you can actually have something that fits there. And those are some of the creative solutions you need. Check out my living room layouts video where I go in depth and I create some living room layouts to show you what some of the best, most popular ones out there are for some inspiration. You don't have to follow this exactly. You can get a little creative in your home, okay, to figure out what's gonna work best for you. But just remember, you want the living room layout to be open when you first enter that space so you feel like you can access it easily and it's inviting, but you also want it to be centralized around something. Whether it's an accent point like a fireplace or something like a television, your living room layout matters. So be sure you check out that video linked right over here to learn all about some incredible living room layouts that will enhance your home, and I will see you over there. Oh, and by the way, thanks for watching.